They were never supposed to be this deadly, but in 2025, some .22 long rifle rounds are tearing through denim, bone, and ballistic gel like high-caliber monsters, all while fitting in your pocket. In today's video, we're ranking the 7 deadliest .22 long rifle rounds you can buy in 2025, and be sure to stick around because our number 1 round might change the way you think about carrying .22 forever. Let's begin. Number 7. Browning BPR 37 grain fragmenting HP. Most people treat .22 long rifle as a plinking cartridge around for backyard cans or perhaps the occasional rabbit. Browning's BPR 37 grain fragmenting hollow point takes that expectation and flips it on its head. This cartridge was purpose-built with one goal in mind: to cause maximum internal disruption the instant it makes contact. Instead of behaving like a standard hollow point, the BPR is designed to shatter. On impact with soft tissue, the bullet fragments into multiple jagged shards that fan out in different directions. In ballistic gel, you don't see a single wound channel, you see a starburst of destruction, often up to 5 distinct patterns, each cutting through tissue on its own. The result is a kind of cluster strike effect from a single trigger pull, multiplying the potential for incapacitation. Browning tuned the velocity for this fragmentation effect, leaving the barrel at about 1,280 feet per second. The 37 grain projectile carries enough speed to guarantee violent breakup, yet without creating unmanageable recoil. Its relatively lightweight is intentional. Rather than focus on deep penetration, it emphasizes velocity, rapid energy dump, and maximum short-range trauma. This makes it very different from hunting-oriented .22 loads, which aim to reach vital organs and small game. The BPR trades penetration for sheer internal chaos, something highly desirable for personal defense at close quarters. For the homeowner or concealed carrier who relies on a .22 pistol or rifle, this round fills a unique role. It reduces the risk of over-penetration while dramatically increasing wound potential in soft targets. Browning essentially engineered a specialized defensive round in a caliber that most dismiss as underpowered. It may not look intimidating on the outside, but once it strikes, the damage speaks volumes. Number 6. Remington Yellow Jacket 33 grain HP. If there's one .22 long rifle round that built its name on speed and shock value, it's the Remington Yellow Jacket. The bright brass and distinct hollow point design aren't just for show. This is a round that redefined what people expected from a lightweight .22 projectile. At 33 grains, the Yellow Jacket isn't heavy, but it compensates with blistering velocity that rips through the air at nearly 1,500 feet per second. That puts it among the fastest commercial .22 long rifle loads ever produced, and velocity is the Yellow Jacket's deadliest weapon. The secret lies in the hollow point itself. Unlike traditional designs, the Yellow Jacket's cavity is cut to open quickly and aggressively. Upon impact, the bullet mushrooms out in a dramatic fashion, shedding energy rapidly and creating a larger wound cavity than its size should logically allow. This isn't a slow, controlled expansion. It's an explosive event that maximizes damage on small game and turns heads in ballistic gel testing. Hunters loved it because it dropped varmints instantly, and defenders respected it because in close quarters the round hit harder than anyone expected from a .22. Of course, the trade-off comes with penetration. Because the Yellow Jacket expands so rapidly, it doesn't always dig as deep as Velocitor or Aguila Interceptor. That makes it less ideal for those wanting guaranteed pass-through or performance on tougher targets. But in scenarios where stopping power and shock are more valuable than penetration, the Yellow Jacket shines. In many ways, it's the flashbang of .22 long rifle ammo, fast, violent, and disruptive. Even decades after its release, shooters still talk about the Yellow Jacket with a mix of nostalgia and respect. It was one of the first .22 long rifle hollow points that made people say, "This little cartridge can actually be dangerous." Today, while newer designs have taken the spotlight, the Remington Yellow Jacket still stands as one of the most iconic high-velocity hollow points ever made. It's the round that proved .22 could play with the big boys when engineered correctly. Number 5, Winchester SuperX, Power Point 40 grain HP. Few .22 long rifle rounds carry as much heritage as the Winchester SuperX Power Point. Since its introduction in the mid-20th century, this cartridge has been the backbone of American small game hunting. The SuperX brand itself was first launched in 1922, and over time it became synonymous with reliability and affordable quality. The PowerPoint 40 grain hollow point in particular stood out as the workhorse load that could do nearly anything a hunter or a marksman needed without compromise. With a muzzle velocity of about 1,280 feet per second, the PowerPoint falls into the high velocity category rather than hyper velocity. That's an intentional design choice. Instead of chasing raw speed, Winchester engineered this round to deliver balance. The 40 grain bullet weight ensures deep, straight line penetration, while the hollow point cavity allows for controlled, uniform expansion upon impact. Unlike lighter, hyper-velocity loads, the PowerPoint doesn't rely on fragmentation. Instead, it provides a clean wound channel that's highly effective for small game such as squirrels, rabbits, and varmints, while also keeping the meat damage to a minimum, something hunters appreciate when putting food on the table. Another defining feature is Winchester's legendary manufacturing standards. The SuperX line became trusted by generations of shooters because it simply worked. From semi-automatic pistols to bolt-action rifles, the PowerPoint fed and fired with a level of consistency that other budget-friendly rimfire rounds often lacked. Brass casings, clean burning powder, and precision priming help reduce misfires and jams, which is especially important in rimfire ammunition, where reliability can sometimes be hit or miss. For decades, outdoorsmen recognized the red and yellow SuperX box as a sign of quality they could count on. While modern ammo makers continue to push the limits with flashy, fragmenting designs and blistering velocities, the Winchester SuperX PowerPoint remains a steady classic. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel, and that's exactly why it has endured. For hunters who value predictable accuracy, humane kills, and a cartridge that cycles without issue, the PowerPoint stands tall as one of the most trusted .22 long rifle hollow points ever produced. It is less about chasing extremes and more about delivering dependable performance every single shot. Number 4, Aguila Interceptor 40 grain copper-plated HP. When it comes to raw speed combined with heavy-hitting bullet weight, the Aguila Interceptor is one of the most impressive .22 long rifle rounds on the market. Loaded with a 40 grain copper-plated hollow point, this cartridge pushes the limits of what standard rimfire rifles can handle, clocking in at an average velocity of 1,470 feet per second. That puts it well above the typical high-velocity category and into the elite tier of .22 long rifle performance. The brilliance of the Interceptor lies in its balance. Many lightweight, hyper-velocity rounds reach high speeds but sacrifice penetration, while traditional 40 grain bullets hit harder but move slower. Aguila managed to do both, retaining the full 40 grain weight for deep penetration while still achieving hyper-velocity speeds. On small game, this translates into devastating impact, clean expansion, and a higher chance of an ethical one-shot kill. Hunters particularly value the copper plating. It reduces barrel fouling compared to plain lead, which means longer shooting sessions without accuracy loss. Semi-automatic reliability is another strong point. The Interceptor cycles smoothly in most semi-auto platforms, where lighter hollow points can struggle. The round is also known for its excellent accuracy, making it suitable not just for hunting but also for target shooting, when speed and energy are priorities. While it isn't as famous as the Stinger or Velocity, many shooters who've tried the Interceptor swear by it as a hidden gem. It offers a rare combination of power, precision, and clean shooting, and it consistently punches above its weight class. For anyone wanting a .22 long rifle that feels closer to centerfire performance, the Aguila Interceptor earns its place near the top of that list. Number 3, CCI Stinger 32 grain hollow point. If there's one .22 long rifle round that has achieved legendary status, it's the CCI Stinger. Since its introduction in 1976, it has been the go-to choice for shooters wanting blistering speed and explosive performance in a rimfire package. Designed with a 32 grain copper-plated hollow point, the Stinger regularly hits 1,640 feet per second, making it one of the fastest commercially available .22 long rifle rounds in history. What makes the Stinger stand out is its unique case design. Unlike standard .22 long rifle cartridges, it uses a slightly longer case with a shorter bullet, allowing for more powder and higher pressure without exceeding safe limits. The result is shocking terminal performance. On small varmints like squirrels, rabbits, or even pest birds, the Stinger delivers violent expansion that leaves no doubt about its stopping ability. Accuracy is another hallmark of this round. While some hypervelocity loads can be erratic, the Stinger has built a reputation for consistent precision. It cycles reliably in most semi-autos, making it an easy favorite among plinkers and hunters alike. However, because of its extreme velocity and case length, a few match-grade chambers may not feed it smoothly. The trade-off for all this speed is penetration. Compared to heavier rounds like the Velocitor or Interceptor, the Stinger can fragment rapidly, reducing its effectiveness on tougher targets. But for light-bodied game or scenarios where maximum shock value is desired, it's unmatched. In short, the CCI Stinger is the iconic hypervelocity .22 long rifle. It redefined what rimfire ammunition could do, and nearly 50 years later, it's still the benchmark for speed and impact. When shooters want excitement in a tiny package, they reach for the Stinger. Number 2, CCI Velocitor 40 grain hollow point. When most shooters think about speed in rimfire ammo, the CCI Stinger usually gets all the attention. But the CCI Velocitor has quietly carved out a reputation as the more balanced option in CCI's hypervelocity family. Instead of chasing the absolute highest numbers, it sticks with a full 40 grain bullet, the same weight as standard .22 long rifle, and it pushes it at around 1,435 feet per second. That mix of weight and speed is the Velocitor's calling card. It delivers serious penetration without giving up reliable expansion, a combination many lightweight hollow points can't maintain. Hunters value this balance. On small game like squirrels and rabbits, the hollow point opens quickly, ensuring quick drops without over-penetration. But where the Velocitor really earns its name is on tougher animals such as raccoons, foxes, and even groundhogs. In gel and field tests, it mushrooms wide while still holding together, driving deep enough to anchor animals that lighter rounds often struggle with. This makes it one of the rare rimfire loads capable of bridging the gap between varmint hunting and light predator control. The Velocitor is also praised for how well it runs in different rifles. Semi-automatics like the Ruger 1022 or Smith & Wesson M&P 1522 usually cycle it with no hiccups thanks to its carefully designed bullet profile and powder charge. Bolt-action rifles tend to show even better results, often stacking tight groups at 50 to 75 yards. And with the right setup, some shooters report repeatable accuracy all the way to 100 yards. Where lighter, hypervelocity bullets can start to wobble or drift, the Velocitor's heavy weight helps it stay on course. Then there's the defensive angle. While few people pick a .22 long rifle as their first line of defense, reality is that many rely on it because it's what they have. Among rimfire options, the Velocitor is one of the only rounds that comes close to FBI penetration standards. In ballistic gel, it often hits 12 to 14 inches, paired with expansion that doesn't fragment into useless pieces. That gives it a level of reliability far above the average hollow point in this caliber. In a pinch, that can mean the difference between a deterrent and a genuine fight stopper. What makes the Velocitor interesting is that it isn't flashy. It doesn't have the legendary name recognition of the Stinger, but in practice, it might be the better all-around performer. It blends speed, weight, expansion, and accuracy into a single round that works across hunting, target shooting, and even emergency self-defense. For shooters who want a dependable, versatile 22 long rifle load, the Velocitor stands out as one of the smartest choices you can make. Number 1. Federal Punch 29 grade flat nose. The Federal Punch has become one of the most talked about 22 long rifle rounds of the last few years, and for good reason. Designed from the ground up with self-defense in mind, it breaks the mold of what most people usually expect from rimfire ammunition. Instead of chasing hypervelocity or fragile expansion, Federal engineered the Punch to deliver reliable penetration every single time, even from compact pistols. The bullet is a 29-grain flat-nose solid, not a hollow point. That might sound counterintuitive, but here's the reasoning. In gel testing, lightweight hollow points often fail to reach the FBI's recommended 12 inches of penetration. They might expand, but they stop too early, which is a problem in real defensive scenarios. The Punch, on the other hand, punches straight through, often reaching 14 to 16 inches, even from short barrels like the Ruger LCP-2 in 22 long rifle or the Taurus TX-22 compact. Out of rifles, it pushes past 1,650 feet per second. And even in handguns, it maintains the speed needed to get deep into the target. The flat nose profile helps create a larger wound channel than round nose solids, giving it more stopping potential than the typical plinking round. But where the Punch really shines is reliability. Federal engineered the case, rim, and priming compound to ignite as consistently as possible. One of the biggest knocks against rimfire has always been the occasional misfire, but the Punch was designed to reduce that problem dramatically. That makes it one of the few 22 long rifle loads that shooters genuinely trust in a defensive magazine. For hunters, the Punch has niche uses too. It's not designed for expansion on small game, but its ability to cut clean through tougher critters makes it useful for pest control, especially when you want straight line penetration. On the range, it also maintains excellent accuracy out to 50, even 100 yards, making it more versatile than its defensive label suggests. What makes the Federal Punch so important is not just its specs, but its role. It changed the way people look at the 22 long rifle for defense by proving that the rimfire could reach FBI standard penetration and do it consistently. Federal gave gun owners another viable option. It may not replace 9mm or 38 Special, but in scenarios where recoil sensitivity, cost, or platform size matters, the Punch stands as the ultimate rimfire choice. It isn't flashy like the Stinger, and it doesn't mushroom like the Velocitor. But for those who understand what matters most in survival situations, the Federal Punch is the true heavyweight of the rimfire world. And that wraps up our look at the deadliest 22 long rifle rounds you can get in 2025. Each of these proves that with the right design, even the smallest cartridge can carry surprising stopping power. Because in the end, your accuracy, your confidence, and your survival all depend on more than size. They depend on choosing ammunition that's been tested, refined, and trusted when it matters most. Now, if you want to keep building your edge, don't stop here. Check out our next video breaking down the top 22 long rifle self-defense rounds of this year and see which ones you'd load when every shot counts.